Hello, divine creations, divine marvels, children of God. Thank you so much for dropping by. And here we are, one more day of life in these amazing bodies on this unspeakably beautiful earth. Now, it's March 2020, and we have a very interesting worldwide health phenomenon happening. And it can be I don't know how to say it, maybe possible to forget that how gifted we are to be alive and to forget how amazing this earth is. So let's take a moment and really remember the truth that this earth, that nature, unspeakably glorious and marvelous, much less these bodies. How Bruno Groening said, in essence, that the glory of God is revealed in these very bodies. If I can find Bruno's exact words, I'll read it. But if we, on the spiritual path, we're all after the truth and we're all after God. We might have different ways of languaging it. Some people may say enlightenment. Some people, different people have different names for God. But ultimately, what we're after is the truth of existence and after sort of the source of everything. And if you're anything like me, you read books and you've gone to workshops and seminars and you've done a lot of healing work, and all those things I think are very positive things. And Bruno Groening points out that if we want to really understand the glory of the divine, we need to look no further than our bodies. And if that's hard to comprehend, then you can just look out the window. And what I've noticed is that when I look at nature with an empty mind, with an open mind, I immediately get filled up with something very good. They did a study of office workers, and office workers who had a window that had a view of nature had 25 something, I forget the exact, but something like 25% less stress than those who didn't. So think about that. You're at your job. You don't have time to stare for hours at nature. Just every now and then, a quick glance at nature, or every now and then, a little mindfulness of nature. And that reduced, again, I forget the exact figure, something like 25%, a significant reduction in people's stress. So, a big part of this path is our own efforts of any spiritual path, is our own efforts. And what I'm so grateful to Bruno Groening for revealing, teaching us that there's so much help and grace available. The simple act of looking at nature with an open mind and heart. And if we can't even have an open mind and heart, then just looking at nature, instantly the connection to God, to the divine, to wellness is reestablished. Sometimes when my thoughts are spinning, I just can't find my center, I just lie down and hold or look at a picture of Bruno Groening, and I always feel better, 100% of the time. Sometimes it takes 5 minutes, sometimes it takes 40 minutes. But the long and short of it is that if we're willing to strive for the divine, there's really, there's a saying, if you take one step towards God, God takes 100 steps towards you. We have to be willing at least to take that one step. And of course, the more steps we can take, in essence, the more grace, help, support we can receive. So let's take in some grace. And for anyone who's new to this channel or new to this topic, what I'm speaking on is the teachings of Bruno Groening, a very humble, yet very spiritual man who lived and taught and was active in Germany in post-World War II. And he said that what he was teaching wasn't his teachings, but simply the teachings of Jesus Christ. And in his presence, scenes out of the Bible happened. Blind people regained their vision, paralyzed people stood up out of their wheelchair. This just didn't happen once or twice. This happened tens of thousands of times. And he shared just in such a simple, straightforward manner that even a child could practice. And that's what these gatherings are about, is learning how to live well here on this earth. Another way to say is learning to know and honor the divine and to live in harmony with it. Mhm. So one of the things that Bruno Groening taught was that there is an energy that's available to help and heal, and that we need to take it in on a daily basis. Just like we know that we need to eat food, he said human beings have in essence forgotten many important things. One of them being that they need to take in this divine energy daily. So the way he taught to do this is very simple. Please sit with your legs uncrossed, feet flat on the floor, hands on your legs, palms facing upwards. Back in an upright position, not stiff, but not slouched, and if possible, not leaning against your chair, just this relaxed, upright posture. And then please close your eyes. And now hand over all illnesses. Hand it over to your notion of a higher power or a spiritual helper. Literally separating yourself so you don't even have the thought, oh, I have such and such illness anymore. Separating yourself from all problems and any life situations that you feel stress or fear about. Please hand those over to the divine as well and trust them. Now, focus your entire attention on healing, on wellness. And then ask to receive divine healing energy. And observe your body, noticing what you feel. And now every sensation you feel is now a step towards your recovery, a step towards healing. Observe your body with this attitude that your body is beginning to readjust itself. Noticing what you feel and understanding every sensation is now a step towards healing. So, for anyone who's new, mhm, please continue to do this practice of observing your body and really holding the perspective that what you're feeling now is healing happening. Welcome everyone. Thanks for the warm hellos. Mhm, mhm. So, so what we just did, Bruno Groening described it in different ways. He called it Aufnehmen, which is a German verb meaning to take in, to assimilate, to absorb, to ingest. This sense of taking something in a very deep way. He also used the word Einstellen, and I've formally begun my study of German, and a big thank you to the person who's helping me. So Einstellen is not a noun. We don't do Einstellen. We Einstellen. And so this it's a small difference, but it's very significant. Einstellen isn't, it wouldn't be like, oh, I do running. Be like, no. Or it's like, I'm going to go do run. No, it's I'm going to run. It's an action and it's active. I'm researching the origin of the word Einstellen. It's not used much in modern German, to my understanding. And, one of the meanings it used to mean is, adjusting the knob on a radio to get the right frequency. However, um, it's not the kind of word where you just like set the knob to the right frequency and take your hand off. Because Einstellen also means to focus, to attune, to align. It has many, many meanings, and I invite anyone to to look at a few of these different meanings. Um, some of them don't quite resonate, such as one of the meanings is to suspend, or discontinue, or cease, or stop. I don't think that's quite what Bruno meant. However, some of them, such as focus, tune in, adjust, position. One of the literal meanings is to position upright. And as I just learned from my German tutor, the word stellen, which is, part of most of the word Einstellen comes from the word stellen. It means to position something properly. Now the thing is, for example, I'm gonna stellen my couch in the right place. Um, the thing is, my understanding of what Bruno was asking us to do, it's not like you do it for one moment and then you get passive. It's this continual tuning in, attuning. That's why he said, I believe, this is just my understanding. He said to observe your body more and more every day, every hour, every second. So again, with this analogy of a radio, it's not that we, find the right frequency and then, just sit back, relax, listen to the music. It's more like we find the right frequency and then we hold on to it, which I believe is another, I'll have to look it up, another meaning of Einstellen, or another connotation is focus. Bruno himself said, find the divine connection and don't let go of it. That's a paraphrase. But so this is a very active process. So let's take all that in and let's aufnehmen all those ideas, and then let's aufnehmen, take in, ingest some more of this divine energy with focus. Let's align ourselves and then hold on to that alignment. If I'm understanding correctly what Bruno taught, a more accurate translation of Einstellen would be not tuning a radio. And I just want to acknowledge that that's what the word was used to mean. You tune the radio to the right frequency. But I believe a more accurate translation of what Bruno would be like is imagine that your arm, and if anyone wants to open their eyes, I'm going to use a visual. Imagine that your arm is a radio antenna, and you're looking for the place of the right frequency, and then you find it, and then you get it exactly, and you keep it there, almost like then you, with your other arm, just imagine a radio antenna that doesn't have any strength on its own. So you get it to the right position. You look, you look, you look, you look, you find the right position, and then you hold it there and keep it there. That's what I believe Bruno meant by Einstellen. Not a passive receiving, but this alignment that does take effort. And my German tutor said that the connotation of Einstellen is something that's more active than passive. So it's like finding the right place, the right alignment, and then holding it. Bruno Groening did say you have to let the energy come to you. That's sort of the receptive piece, but he also said you have to take it in. And there's this way in which I thought of Einstein as kind of this, I just receive and I kind of do nothing and just let the energy, I just let it kind of wash me. Well, certainly that's part of it. I'm receiving something and I am allowing it to work on me. And the German words Bruno used, Aufnehmen, Einstellen, these are very active words. So who knew? Who knew that we were all going to be learning a little German? I sure didn't. So I'd like to read a quote, something that Greta Hausler wrote. And those of you who don't know, she knew Bruno Groening very well. She wrote, "How many secrets are there between God and human beings? Whoever will become complete, to him will be revealed how great God is and how greatly he fulfills his miracles." So the thing is that as human beings, we can't even just begin to understand how glorious God is. We can intellectually say things like infinite glory, infinite wonder, but can we feel, can we know what infinite glory or limitlessness means? Who of us can know, who of us can feel what infinite love is. I personally can have little tastes of these things, um, and I believe that's what she's referring to. And in fact, Bruno Groening said, "You." It's a paraphrase, but it's almost the exact quote. You cannot yet fully understand how much goodness God has in store for you. So let's put aside for a moment how glorious God is. And according to Bruno Groening, we can't even fathom how much goodness God wants to and is going to give us. So maybe a big part of this path is, or maybe one of the goals of any spiritual path is to come and have a direct experiential knowing of how wonderful and how glorious God truly is. I personally believe, I'm pretty convinced that we get little tastes of that glory when we do this practice. I know I feel something wonderful when I attune or tune in, something unspeakably wonderful. And what if, friends, what if that's just a taste? What if that's just a taste? There's only one way to find out, and that's to keep on this path, to keep striving. You know, a mystic who I have a lot of respect for, Annalise Scarron, I believe her name is. She was a Mormon, a former Mormon. She kind of went her own way and had very profound mystical experiences. And she said something to the effect of, don't give up striving until you see God face to face. Now, I don't know if God has a face or not. I know some people believe adamantly that God is personal and has a face, and some people are very adamant. No, God is impersonal, doesn't actually have a face. Yeah, we can argue about that for hours and not get anywhere. But the sentiment, the spirit of what she's saying, depending on which of those two camps you fall into, we can both agree on that who or whatever God is, he, she, it is glorious beyond words, and our path isn't complete until we are directly interfacing, connected to, seeing, bathing in that glory. So whether you take that statement literally, yes, I want to see the face of God, or whether you take it a little more metaphorically, I want to experience the infinite wonder. And who knows, maybe they're both true. Regardless, let's keep on striving until we have that experience, that knowing of glory, wonder, peace, happiness, love that's just beyond our comprehension. So let's spend a little time continuing to take in this goodness, reflecting on our goal, that which is beyond our comprehension, goodness beyond our comprehension, beauty, love, peace that we just can't even fathom. Handing over any negative thoughts, handing them over with fierceness. Hmm. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. I'm feeling such a deep peace right now. I'm so grateful to God and to Bruno and to each person here. This world and the people on it have always needed this peace. Bruno spoke of it as the divine heavenly peace. In the Bible, they call it the peace that passes all understanding. It's just unfathomable. And the world needs it. It's always needed it. And it especially needs it now. And we need it now. We need it always, and especially now. So let's keep doing the things that bring us to this. This isn't, I don't, Bruno Groening never said Einstellen is the only, only Einstellen, only Aufnehmen. In fact, he said it doesn't matter, paraphrasing, but he said it doesn't matter how a person finds God, just that he finds God. So for some people, it's dancing, poetry, obviously nature, time in nature, but whatever helps you find the divine connection, please do it. And as Bruno said, take up the divine connection and don't let it go. It's the most precious thing in life. And I share that not to preach, but to remind myself, because I forget. That's why I do these meetings so often, to help me, much less to help everyone who comes. It's written that Christ said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God." The more I tune in and the more I study Bruno's teachings, I come to feel that the divine connection is the most important thing. As Bruno pointed out yesterday, life is in essence a game, and there's two games. There's the divine game and there's the evil game. And one game is wonderful and glorious, sometimes challenging, no question about it, because it's also not just a game, it's a learning game, or as Bruno said, a play school. The evil game, however, is not fun and full of suffering and misery. So let's seek first the kingdom of God, the connection to God, the rulership of God over every aspect of our life, so that we can play, so that life can be more of a joyful learning play than a struggle, suffering, misery. And yes, challenge is part of the good game, the learning, fun game. So thanks for saying hi, Gerald. Hello, Ulrike. Hi, Germana. Beautiful, Ulrike. Yes, let's arise and shine all the time. Because this path isn't just about us feeling good just for our own well being, that's part of it. It's also feeling good so that we can shine and we can help others. Thanks, forever loving. A big hug received and returned. Thanks, Jisoo. Much love to you, and yes, to this divine family. Good evening, Magdalena. Thanks for saying hi. All right, divine creations, divine marvels, and to all of you, thank you. Friends, if you want to learn and grow spiritually, find your own version of what I'm doing. Share the practice of tuning in, and share these teachings. You don't have to do it like me. There's many ways, but it has changed my life to share these things. Life-changing. Life-changing. Highly recommend it. So I'm going to close this out with a prayer. Dear God, beloved Christ, our dear friend Bruno, please help us to be humble and recognize our need for God and our need for nature. Please help us to deepen our faith in trust that God is all good and only good and completely reliable. Please help us to recognize our need for the divine to overcome evil and hence turn to God, turn to the good, and dedicate our lives to following the good. Please help us to become aware of everything, every bad habit, every negative thought that disconnects us from the divine. Please help us be willing to release it. And we humbly ask now that everything that interferes with the divine connection be lifted from us. Please help us to regret the places where we've hurt people, and when possible, to make it right. Please help us to watch our thoughts like our life depends on it, and to firmly say no to every untrue, negative, evil, stressful thought, and to ask for a good thought instead. Please help us to seek the divine connection more and more, and to seek guidance in every aspect of our lives. Please help us to take these spiritual principles and live them thoroughly, taking on faith that we and this earth and everyone will ultimately be freed from all evil, all problems. And so let us dedicate ourselves to finding that freedom for ourselves, to sharing it with others. Please free us from all evil, grace and mercy, pardon and forgiveness for all we've done that's been out of alignment with God, that we may become instruments of God's peace, love, power, and wisdom. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, divine creations, divine marvels. I'll see and feel you very soon, I hope. Take care. Much love.